So welcome back all, day 15. And today we'll take a big, deeper look into data-driven framework. We're going to use Java, JUnit a little bit, and we will use how we can build a data-driven framework with Selenium WebDriver. What is a data-driven framework? We'll understand by the end of this session. Now for this, we will also need something called as Apache POI, which is Power Obfuscation Interface, and we will also use Apache HSSF. They kind of come together. This is actually the name for horrible spreadsheet format. But these two help us, our Java code, to interact with Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. So why is this necessary? How do we do this? Let's take a good look. Let's start with a basic Selenium WebDriver code team, but I'm going to create a new project. In the previous two sessions, if I'm right, you went through depth of mastering element identification using XPath. You know how different applications can behave and how you can identify them. So anytime you're stuck with a little complex application, you use various methodologies and techniques to identify elements. Now for us, we're talking about an application under test, a specific test scenario or case, and how do we automate that? So let's take the application under test as this mortgage calculator team. It helps us to just play around a little bit with numbers and build an easy data-driven framework. So I'm going to create a new project. And let me call this as DDF. Finish. No module. Source, right click. I'm going to create a very simple new Java class. I don't know what I'll put here. But I'll say this is MC01, mortgage calculator 01. It's already in DDF, so it's easy for us to pick it up. I'm not going to use a main method. Now, I know that if I want to run a test, I have to set my driver, launch the driver. I need the URL, and we need to do some basic tests. So let's look at this JUnit and see what application this is going to QA on air and doing certain things, a few tests. I'm going to take this team and customize it. So that way I don't have to recreate everything. All right. Now, whenever you're starting with your Eclipse project and create a new Java project, you want to organize everything rightly. You won't have the main things that is critical team, and that's your external jar files. So any imports that you see here are essential if they have been imported into your library. So the errors right now, if you look at them, is it is not able to recognize these imports. And you should easily know by now that, oh yes, that is because I did not import the external library. So right click on your project, go to properties, we go into Java build path, click on Java build path, libraries, and in the class path, you say add external jars. Remember, we kept a couple of jars there. We definitely need Selenium server. We need JUnit along with Hamcrest, and apply and close. Now these should be recognizable. Most of the code seems to have got organized well. Now, what is it that I want to do? I want to have an ad before. It should launch Chrome for me. It should navigate to a URL. So there are certain test parameters that will come into play here, team. And I want to create them, declare them. And I'm creating here so that it is a global class level, global variables and objects. Do all of you remember? At least say yes in the chat, where I kept mentioning when we went through core Java that these blocks, curl brackets, define the life of a variable or an object that you define. So if I define and say there is a string called variable URL equals whatever I put here, and I have the actual application as https://www.mortgagecalculator.com, I guess, I'm not sure, and end with a semicolon. Now this VURL is only alive from line 17 to line 25. So in my actual test, let's go with one test. I don't need a lot of this at ignore. I think I have 3 tests. Let's keep one test for now. In the actual test, if I say my Chrome dot navigate and whatever I'm giving here, right, dot to what is our URL? VURL. Now, in this case, what would happen if I take my mouse over VURL? It'll say, I don't know what is VURL, cannot be resolved to a variable. You have to declare it. And that is hence the reason I will not declare VURL within, at, before, or at, after, or in the test. I will declare it at the mortgage calculate MC01 class level. So that becomes global. Now I can recognize it anywhere I want. So that's my first step, team, here. Let me delete a few of these now. What is it that I want to do? Let's talk about this application. .org. That's the URL. .org. Where am I? All right. Now, a team, we were doing this earlier, if I'm not wrong. Where are we? And did I go here? MC somewhere we were doing. That's interesting. I don't remember. Where was it? Cell test one. Anyhow, title and just a title test this is. I thought I made an Excel or something here. I don't think I have an Excel sheet created yet here. So I'm going to create one here now. All right. So team, here is the requirement for me. Okay. Please listen to what I'm saying carefully. There are certain things that go as input, and the certain things I'll get as an output. An input is primarily, in this case, the home value or a down payment, how much loan, interest. I can also put a term, start date, property tax, PMI, and a few things, and click on calculate, which is there down below. Once I click on calculate with certain sets of inputs, I get an output, and that output will be total monthly payment. You'll get total interest paid, total tax paid, and so many different outputs. So your mortgage calculator, to be certified that it is working fine as an internal application, you want to see how this application behaves for different sets of input data and see how you get different types of outputs, and make sure it always gives you that expected output. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to organize a sheet just to make myself much more neater. in this folder, I'm going to create a new Excel sheet. Actually, this will be, I don't know what this is. I'll save it as a 97 2003 version .xls rather than xlsx, save as. Yeah, it is not XLS, so 97 2003, and I'll call this as MC01, the name of the sheet. In this, I have some inputs, okay? And I'll say this is an input set. And what are those things that I want to put? Home value, down payment, loan amount, interest rate. I'll just take this 4 for now. So I'll say this is H value, down payment. What was the other one? I think if I take down payment, loan amount will come automatically, correct? And then interest rate. Now these three are my inputs. So I'm going to give them a different color as background. And then I want to get the total monthly payment. I'll just say M payment as the output. And this is my output. I'll just give it a different color. Now, if my test passed or failed, I don't know. So now what am I saying? There is a expected monthly payment and there's an actual monthly payment that I see on the website. And if those two match, my result is a pass or a fail out here. And I'll have different input sets. I'll say this is test data set 1, test data set 2, test data set 3. And let's start with a certain number here. Let's do 300,000 or 350. Okay. Let's put a down payment of, I'll say 75,000. And then I go to interest rate, I'll put as 3.45. So let's put these numbers, team. Now, what is my expected monthly payment? When I click on calculate, with everything being as is, it came to this number. That's what I'm expecting, team. It's asking me to sign in. I don't know why it's doing that right now. Now, with the same set, I'll get the same result each time. Application also will behave correctly. Now, let's say I change this to 3.75 and 3.85. What happens? 3.75. Calculate. It's now 1556.90. So almost the same. Now with 3.85. And I know it's a very specific numbers we are searching for, but that's fine. We have to be able to test to very specific numbers also. 72.56. Now these are my expected monthly payments, team. I'm hoping that when I run my test, this is what it will come. Now, how do I write a test so that I arrive at this? One is, okay, I've kept all my information here. I need definitely these parameters. So I'll take these and put it into my code. Observe what I'm doing, team. Everything at a test level, I'll put it here. And I'll say these are my test parameters. Now, are this string or a number? Anyone? These numbers that we are entering, are they double, integer, or a string? I need to take and enter these numbers here, correct, into the application. What should be the variable type that we will put there? So that variable type is dependent on your Selenium command. Your Selenium command for that would be something like mychrome dot find element by dot using the element identification for this specific home value. I need to be able to say something specific. So here I see ID is home value, input ID home val. So I'll write a simple XPath by dot XPath is slash forward slashes to HTML tag is input, open square brackets at the rate ID equals single quotes home val. Hopefully this is correct. There is also a name param home val, but I'll just use this and say home val. End of single quotes, end of square brackets, end of double quotes. Now I found that element. Once you find that element, you pass a command, and that command is send keys. And here you will be sending a string team, a character sequence. So I cannot say put 123 into it. It will not take a number. But if I say 123 in quotes, no problem. It will go and type it. So your input will go into a web UI always as a string, though the actual one could be, it's a number or a decimal, but we will put it into a string and then send it. So all of this become string for us till we result and then close. Now, no values are set for this team. So for my test, I would first set the values and then run it. So home value, I'm saying is 350,000. Okay. And then down payment equals, see, I'm again doing a little duplicate work. Can't help it, but it's happening. 75,000. Now interest rate equals something, monthly payment. Okay. This is expected monthly payment, and this is the value for a team. Not sure why, when I'm entering it. We don't have this yet. This by default is one second. All right, everyone, sorry, I'm back. Now, this is one set of parameters. Let's do it for one set of parameters. And what's my test data input set? Let me create a variable for that input set also, team. I'll say input set, okay? And here, I'll say input set equals td001. Now, once I do this for one set, I will go and rest do it for the others. Let's try and accomplish for one team. Now, here are so I've navigated to that URL. I'm going to go and put the keys, but inside send keys, For the first one, I'll put whatever is there in H value. Now, the next statement or line is going to be about down payment. So right click here on down payment. What happened to my mouse? Inspect. Where is it here? Input ID is down payment. So that's the only thing that I'm going to change in my XPath here, team. So here from home val, I'm going to get as down payment. Be very careful and conscious of upper, lower cases, any spaces, anything in between, team. You have to capture everything. Worst case, just double click, get the actual text, Control C, Control V. Now that you've put this, I'll say this is my DPay. Now, what's the next one? I have loan amount. So right click on loan amount, inspect on it. And it is loan AMT IDs. Okay, loan AMT. Now, do we know that this works? We are not sure till we run it, team. Loan amount. That's down payment. Oh, loan amount, we're not doing anything. So I don't need loan amount. Cool. What do I need then? Interest rate. Okay, right click, inspect interest rate. Bro, where are you? Here, see, interest rate. Input type is number step here. Interest rate, INTRST rate. Don't wanna make a mistake, so I'll do a Control C and put it here, Control V. And here comes my I rate. Finally, do I need to do anything else here? Only the click button, I think. Calculate. So right click on it and say inspect. Type is submit value so and so. This is the button input. Value is calculate. Name is cal. So we can use the name cal and put it up, team. So by.xpath input at name equals, oops, sorry, not here. Next one. Input at ID, no, name equals cal. And team, you don't have to write this XPath and so on. You know that, right? You can say by.id itself directly, and that's fine too. But I'm just keeping it as an XPath, so it's easy to put it anywhere we want. What did I do? That's for calculate button. And then my total monthly payment will come here, team. So this is what I'll capture, and I'll say inspect this, and I got it as H3. That is the heading tag of size 3. H1 is the biggest one. H2 is the next biggest one in terms of font. H3 is the next big headline. So we are looking at H3, but there could be so many H3s in the overall application. We don't know. If you go down, you will see a lot of H3s, team. If this is H3, this is H3, all of these are H3. So I don't know which H3 it is. So let me right click and see if it will give me an XPath. Where is it? Right click, inspect, right click, copy, XPath. I'm going to put it into Notepad first and see. Okay. Now here is how it is identifying this at the moment, team. It says go to ID calc form under it section, second section under the first section, go all the way through so many diffs, finally go through this H3 tag. Now, personally, if I look at it, I'll say, you know what, doesn't look great. But if it works for now, then we're good. So that's my entire XPath for this. And what is it that I want to do there? There's nothing for me to go and send keys here. I want to get the text from here. How do I get text? I will say dot. Oops, what is this? Can't see my own code here. Dot get text should be there. So get text should ideally get us a text, team. If I say get attribute, then I can specifically say what value from that element I want. But right now it is the text that I want. So I'll say get the text. Now, if the text has come to us, I want to put that somewhere. So that is my actual monthly payment. And I want to print my actual monthly payment. Plus AMPAY. Now all I have is a simple JUnit test case where it's going to go to a specific URL. In fact, this also I'll put it down. And then after the test, it'll close it. But in the test, and you can put any name for this, my test 1 or 2, doesn't matter, as long as it has our test annotation. We're navigating, we're entering 3 inputs. Oh, I didn't click on calculate. Form. What is happening? I didn't click on calculate, team. That's the mistake. See, my Chrome. Let me find that element and click on it. So I did research, inspect, type, name is Cal here. See, so at ID name is Cal, and we got to click on that. Oops. Dot click. Now, when we're clicking on this team, I don't know how long it will take for it to load. So I'll just put a wait for now. I will discuss implicit and explicit waits also. Just let me put a simple wait out here. And let's execute this now. Opening. And we have an issue. I don't know what the issue is, but we will evaluate. Let's investigate. So it says invalid selector exception, blah, 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 where line 47. So I'll double click here. It'll take me there. My Chrome, invalid selector. So I don't know what happened. I don't need this here. My Chrome.navigate to URL is there. Where is the URL? Mortgagecalculator.org. If I made a mistake there, then it's a problem. In my at after team, I'm going to close this, comment it, so I know what the issue is on the application when I look at it. The at after does not have to be before team. That's okay if it is there in any order. At before, at after shouldn't be an issue. So all good. Invalid selector exception. The string is not a valid XPath expression itself. This is a vet ID home value. Why is this not valid? It's saying this expression itself is invalid. I have an extra bracket here, team. Did you see that? I'm not supposed to have that extra bracket there. That could be the problem. I'm not sure. Maybe that is because even here, there's no opening bracket, but there's an ending bracket. Now let me try again, everyone. Okay, it's entered 3.45. And I get a no such element exception on which one? Line 50. By XPath, again the same one. Input ID is, no, it's not ID maybe. It's the name is cal, I think. I'm sorry. Inspect, see how many mistakes we're making, team. As we go along, we just want to keep, getting that improved. I'm sorry. See, name is cal, not ID. Here, the rate name equals cal. Now let's run it again. It's clicked on calculator, calculate button, and we will see what has come out. Actually, monthly payment is so and so. Now, all I will do here is I'll put an if statement. If AMPay dot equals A in what was that? EMPay, then I'm gonna say test is a pass, else test is a fail. Now that's my assessment of my test. Those are my driving factors for it. So that is what I wanted to do. But I don't want it to do just for one thing. I want this to get repeated for multiple things, team. So look at it now. I have an at before, I have an at after. At after can be here, or we can take it and put it in the end. That's fine. It's just how you want to organize it. Where is my data? My data is right now in an external source, at least the input and what I'm expecting. I want these two fields to get really filled up at the end with content as to if my test passed or not. What was the monthly payment that was there on the website? What did we expect? Now, for me to do that, there are two things I will do. One, I want to create here a method, and I'll say public. I don't know if it's a void or not. Void, and I'll say get payment. Into this, there will be three parameters: string, monthly payment. I'll say functional f. Okay, string m. I don't want to give the same names, team. F pay, F down, and what else is there? F rate. Okay. Now, with these three parameters, what happened to this now? Complete class body. Hello, I have it here, no? Oh, 1 second. Acha. Somewhere. What is it happening? Right now it's correct. Everything is there. At after is done. What? I'm not able to put a method there. Uh, public class. These are the import statements. And this is 01. Hmm, interesting. But anyway, just let me get what I want from another folder. Is there a read and write from Excel here? It is there. Nice. Okay, but before that, I'm just stuck on the small one. What am I doing wrong? I want to create a method in this class. So I will create a method in this class here. I'll say public static void my m. Now it is okay. And get EMI, I'll say. Now string fpay string f down string f rate. Now if I pass these three things, I want this function to basically tell me if it is a pass or not. So I'm going to cut all of this complex one which I tested now. I will cut it here and I'll put it in this. And not only will it say it is a test is a pass, but I'll also have it return pass. And I will have this function return a fail here. So if it returns a pass or a fail, I will have to say it's no longer void public static string. Now my Chrome is not recognized here. Why? Oh, it's not static. So all of them have to be static team for me because I'm calling it from a static method. I told you what is static. Static belongs to the class. So even if you take objects out of it, it will not matter. You can call it directly. So static, I have these. And then I have these thread.sleep may throw an exception, throws exception. And now everything is same here. But instead of home value, we'll say fpay. Let me save as team if you don't mind. Oh no, Control C. Are you all with me? Anyone lost or confused? Because these are all the basic Selenium WebDriver that we've been doing for a while. This is MC02. Control A, Control V. MC02. Now MC01. Oops, will be a little problem, but we will continue with MC02 now. So MC02. So in my main test now, all I will do is I'll call this method called getEMI and pass h value. That's what it's going, right? Home value, down payment, interest rate, comma, DPay, down payment, comma, I rate. Now look at it, team. This specific function needs to be repeated for different sets of test data. So each time I don't want to go manually here, copy this and put that and see what the results are coming. I want to teach that capability to my program. To do that, we should be able to read and write from an Excel sheet team. And for that, we use Apache POI. Okay. Let us look at what this method is doing, and then we can do something more on it. So ting, Excel.java, read Excel, write Excel sheets, a lot of them are there. Read, write Excel. Now there is a sample sheet somewhere here. Let's go and try where this is. C training, Java, March 2020. Sample one. I think this is the one we're looking at here. And then there is another one called result, which is called sample one underscore res.xls. All right. So here I just have very simple information team. There are columns A, B, C, D. There are rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 4 sets of data. different information into this. Now to read this Excel, what I do is I am using a class called Excel that I created myself. In that class, there is a method called ReadExcel. And if I say, where is the Excel sheet located and give the name of that sheet, that entire data from that sheet, which is all of this, will get stored. Where can it get stored? I can't put that into an individual variable. These variables are like in rows and columns. It's in a tabular format. And hence for this, we will use a two-dimensional array. A 2D array is where we'll be able to transition this team. Read the Excel data spreadsheet into a Java 2D array. So the rows and columns will come as is for us. So whatever we are saying read Excel here using the sheet address and the name will come now into a two-dimensional string here. So Excel data right now has all the content team. It will have everything in it. When I say Excel data dot length, I'll know the number of rows. When I say Excel data on the first one, the length, the first row, I will know the number of columns. I can print both of them. I will go into Excel team, we'll look into that also. I can print both of them. Then I can row by row, column by column, and also print what is there in that sheet. Okay. And finally, I can write something into an Excel using Excel.write Excel sheets, tell where I want to write, which sheet number, and the data. And it should be able to go and write that. I don't think it overwrites. I'll delete the old one. And here, I think what I'm doing here, if you look at team, if it finds a value C somewhere, it should replace it with new C in that cell. So let's just run this and see what comes on. We are running read-write excel.java. This in turn uses excel.readExcel and excel.write Excel sheets. And that's here, team. This is my public class Java Excel in which I have the Apache POI HSSF that I was talking about. And I also need Java file inputs and output streams to be able to read and write with an Excel. How this function works, I'm going to quickly walk you through, team. But before I walk you through the depth of this, let's just run this simple one. And then we know how to use ReadExcel and how to use WriteExcel. So I'll right click here and say run as Java app. Okay, so I got something. A, B, C, D, 1, 11, 12, 13, 14, everything came. But sheet index -1 is out of range, no sheets. Which line is this? Line 26 here. I think we will need sample. I'm there now, it's here. I didn't delete it. Let me close. This doesn't have to be closed, but this one, I think I have to delete it because we are not trying to overwrite if it is already there. Let's try it again. Oh, it wrote it, team. Let's see, it created this file. Did it do what we asked it to do? Let's see. We found a problem with some content in sample one. Do we want to recover it as much as we want? Okay. Unable to read. Something got corrupted in it. Let me see. This is the input, which just got the A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, that data, nothing more. And we wanted an output. Let me see. Sheet. If it's not there, it's not there. Sheet 0, I'll say. -1 is out of range. No sheets. Yeah, you create, na re. What if I have sample1 underscore res res? Just kept that. So the sheet is there. Now it can't write onto it. I think there's some issue with the latest Apache there, team, for ReadExcel. We'll fix this, okay? Let's go on with the ReadExcel and see if it is reading. Yes, it is reading because I'm printing out from this sheet and I'm getting all the data. See, rows are 5, columns are 4, and so on. So in this excel.java, the ReadExcel is very simple, team. I'm only sending the path and the name of the sheet, remember? Now what we're doing is we're creating a blank X data. It is a two-dimensional array, doesn't have any size to it yet. Created just local variables for rows, columns, and the value of a cell. When we talk about an Excel sheet, what we see inside that Excel cell, that specific cell value is important, team. Most important thing is that cell value format is very different. The format in which Excel looks at data and how we look at it in a notepad or a Java. So we need to convert the data using this data formatter, which is also another Apache POI import, team. And all of this code, we use it as is. Now here comes the main portion. First, we say that I want to create an empty file in my Java program called myExcel. Now this myExcel is pointing to this path. Now I'm opening my stream, which is an input stream to this file. Using file input stream, now I can try to read data. My stream now refers to this specific Excel overall. But which sheet should I go? That is the point. So there are two things come in HSSF, team, which is horrible spreadsheet format I was talking about. So in this, the first is the workbook. So if this is my Excel, I can have many this is overall is a workbook. This one is worksheet. I can have any number of worksheets like this. This is sheet 2. And this is sheet 3. You can put any data you want in each of these sheets. Overall, it's called a workbook. Each of them are individual worksheets. So here I have my workbook, then I have my worksheet. And with that sheet, I'm able to control what data is in there. Now, whenever I refer to my sheet, it is referring to an object in that workbook, which is opened for input file stream in this specific path. I can get the number of rows and column using my sheet. There's some inbuilt commands, get last row number, get row and last cell number. X data size is now set. If I don't know the size of that array, then we have to go into using array list and so on. But right now we know how big is that array because I already got the rows and columns. Now all I do is go through each row, each column, get that cell value and put it into a proper text. Okay. And then finally at the end, I return X data. That's my two-dimension string, which has all the X data I, J. I is row, column is J. Each time it will go through this, get the value, put it in here. It will finish this for loop. There are two for loops, one between each other, one for row, next for column. Then it will return this X data. Very similar is ReadExcel sheets. The only thing here, you will see there is an output stream also for it. File output stream, you will write it to it, make changes to it, and then push it. but there's something wrong here which was not working. We'll investigate in the next session on that. But now what I will do, team, I'll take this excel.java. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to our project here. I'm going to put this excel.java. Now for this excel.java to work, why does it have an issue? Let's see. Close all tabs to the left. It's the import. My project does not have Apache POI. So, but this project does have. Let's download the latest one. I'll just say Apache POI HSSF jar download. Download release artifacts Apache POI. Latest table release is here. Let's take this and let me 1 second. Sorry. Let's take one of these binary distributions. Zip POI bin. Download it from anywhere. Once I unzip it, it'll look like a jar file. It's going to take a little time. Let me see if I have an older one. I'll know from here. Right click, properties, Java build path. See, it's in C:drivers, POI 4.1 jar. But this would have almost, okay. Drivers. And here I have Apache POI 4.12 is there. 4.10 also is there. Let's see this. Your show in folder. And this, let me open this as Windows Explorer. You'll have a lot of files in this. You're only looking at the jar file. And I'll put it here, but I think I already have the same name, team 4.12. Let's replace it. Let's go back to our project, the latest one, where I have excel.java, but it cannot recognize. So right click here, we go to properties. So every project we have to build, team. Unless once we go to Maven, we will have all this stitched together as dependencies, and that's fine. Yo C drive drivers POI apply and close. There you go. So errors are gone, but we can never be confident that it'll work. For me right now, the first thing I will do is read Excel. Now to read this Excel, I'll need to read it into a two-dimensional array, team. Remember this always. So I'll have to put it as static string of 2 dimensions, and I can call this as my Excel data or whatever I want. Now, how do I read this Excel data? All I say is Excel data equals, I have my class Excel, so I say Excel dot, and I can see there's read Excel and write Excel. Those two methods. I'm going to use the read Excel method. And the path for this I'm going to give now. Where is my Excel? Let's find. I didn't save my Excel. I think it's in this folder. Yeah, MC01 is here, team. So this is my path. Hard coding it //MC01.xls. For xlsx, you have XSSF team instead of HSSF, and that works fine too. What is the name of the sheet for this Excel? Not sure. Let's open. Sheet 1. Okay. So this entire sheet will now be read into a single reusable, a single two-dimensional array of string team. Now this ReadExcel and all that can throw exceptions team, just like a thread dot sleep. When we are interacting with an external file system, it may throw an exception. So we just say throws exception. It's capable to throw an exception and should take care of that error. Now Excel data is whatever we want. So I don't need to read it this way. What I can do is I can put it into a simple for loop, and I'll say how many rows are there for me. I'll remove the first row, so there are 3 rows. We can get the number of rows also and say int v rows equals Excel data dot length. That will tell me the number of rows here, team. So here in my for loop, I'll say for int I equals start with 1. 0 in an array will refer to the first one. 1 will is the first here, because the 0th row is the column names. I don't need it. So I'll start with 1. For int I equals to 1, I is less than v rows I plus plus. And now this data that is there, I don't want to read this from hard coded in my code. I want my input set to come from Excel data row I column 0. Home value, I think, is the next one. Down payment also, I believe, is the next one. Interest rate also, I believe, is the next one. I'm going in that order. Expected monthly payment also, I'm getting it in the next one. Now, amount and result are still blank. We have to get actual data. Okay. Now, once I got it, oh, this navigation should be first. Once I got it, I will navigate and I will get the EMI. And that's now my test. Did you see how different it looks? Number one, the bulk of Selenium operations, I took it into this get EMI function. It'll do all that. We tested it. The bulk of ReadExcel is in this excel.java. It'll do all that for me. I'll just call it one line Excel data, blah, blah, blah. Now, this Excel data should have everything for me. Now, let's try team. We're not sure. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here and we're going to run it. Any issues anytime with the Excel or anything, it'll immediately have an issue. It'll say, guys, I can't do something. And we have to make sure our Excel is open here, but we do have an issue. No class, Apache, POI, something came. Hmm. I think, what is the other one? I need commons, math utils. I didn't take that. 1 second. And this doesn't have. it opened, but it didn't do much because it failed in reading the Excel team out here. And it has a commons math utils issue, which will actually be somewhere here. Yeah, see? Let me take this also into drivers. It will be here. Commons maths is there. IO is there. Because this error that I saw right now, which came to us, is saying this commons math 3 issue because of the formatting. Now, let's import that as well. Build path, configure build path. Team, I also have a hard break in the next 2-3 minutes. Hopefully this should work now, but otherwise we'll have to continue tomorrow. But let's see. Okay, it's navigated, that's good, which is basically means it didn't have a problem with reading the Excel now, like it did last time. It is entering the details. It's done something. It's gone to the website again. It's entering the second set of details. And we should be getting the result on it, which it will capture. Now the third set. And there we go. We should now, but oh, I hit the run. I didn't do the debug run team. That's why no breakpoint got hit. But each time we're getting the values. Actual is this, expected is this, and it's kind of getting fast. Now, let's meet on Monday, everyone, and continue this. We'll also say how I can take the data back and put it back into this Excel, where it tells me if they match, it's a pass or it's a fail. And I can do it for lots of sets of test data, not just one or two. We can repeat, change what it is. Any questions, team, from today's session based on what we did so far? You can raise your hand. You can also put it in the chat. Yes, Aarti.
Karthik, can you please post Ramu's 13 and 14 extract videos? I was looking forward to it.
Where do you go to check if the video is there or not?
The November 2020.
It's not there. You don't have 13 there.
No, it's not. The video is not coming.
Why?
I don't know. Karthik said Ramu said that the video is pretty big and you have to upload it sometime.
Correct. I'm having that issue, but I see 13 here.
Oh, but for me, 13
Yesterday,
is not loading.
not loading in the sense.
It's not. It says for me the video didn't come.
Huh? Sorry, it's
Or
not
for
coming
me,
there. Video.
for maybe some problem with my end. I couldn't get the 13.
So you're not part of my YouTube channel subscription, Aarti.
No, I'm not.
Why are you not part of my YouTube subscription? Can you
I'm not
please
sure.
all subscribe to that first? I've sent ample emails on this. Ample.
Okay.
And I upload the videos here if I'm not able to upload it onto the website.
Oh, okay.
12 is here, 13 is here. Okay.
Okay.
So please keep a little bit more alert onto those things.
Okay.
And I will get the other yesterday's video uploaded.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yesterday's I did not upload, team. 13th day, check it out. Okay. 14th and 15th I will do today. Yes, 14th needs to be uploaded. I will today. Okay. I don't have bandwidth where I'm sitting in a remote Texas place. So I'm having a little issue. I asked Ramu to do it, even he's unable to do. So I'll get it done. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. We'll see you back on Monday then. Bye all.